What's going on, you guys? It's Randy with Full Throttle Obsessions. We did a little work to my '01 Ford Excursion. It's got the 6.8 liter V10. It had an oil filter adapter gasket leak. There's not really a lot of good information on the V10s. There is on the 5.4 liters, but this particular gasket has a few more steps than the V8. Kind of show you guys where the leak was coming from. Now the leak was coming just behind the water pump here. I'll get my trusty extension pointer for you guys. It was coming right here on the driver's side and running down the block, getting progressively worse over the time it was leaking. Now the problem with this one that's different from the 5.4 liter and the V8s is the oil filter adapter runs all the way on the side of the block and comes out. It's too dark for me to show you guys, but it runs all the way down back to the oil filter in the back. So it goes across the motor mount and all that, which makes it a little harder to get to. Now after you take the serpentine belt off your power steering pump, you go ahead and drain your coolant. You got a little drain valve over here, and then pull your bottom radiator hose to get the excess coolant out. And then you're going to take off your power steering pump, and then you're going to bring it as close to the shroud as possible to get it out of the way. Now from there, you'll go ahead and come to the top. Now what I did, I went ahead and took my air box and everything, the tube out of the way to give me some extra room. I unbolted the harness right here just to push it out of the way to allow me the room to actually get to the adapter gasket, or to get to the adapter itself. It's really hard to see because it's fairly tight space and pretty hard to get to. And then from there, you'll have three 10-millimeter bolts that are running on the side of the adapter housing, and then one on the inside right here. And then you got four 13-millimeter bolts on the motor mount itself, going to the block or going to the housing. It is really hard to see. You guys won't be, the camera's just not picking it up. So you have two 13-millimeters right there. The other two 13-millimeters on the other side of the bracket. There we go. You can see one of the 13-millimeter bolts right here on the driver's side back of the bracket itself. You got another one that's down here. Now you're only going to loosen those four bolts 1/4 inch, just to give you enough room to pick up on the motor, so you could get a little room in the adapter housing to get the gasket out. And then you'll take off your oil filter and you'll loosen that 15 millimeter nut about 1/4 inch as well. You're not going to want to take it all the way out. From there, at the bottom of this cross member, let's see if there we go. There's two on each side of these 21 millimeter nuts. You'll loosen them about 1/4 inch as well on both sides. Now, once you got the four bolts removed from the adapter housing here, and the four 13-millimeter bolts loosen 1/4 inch with the motor mount bolts, and of course your oil filter housing nut, you'll want to go ahead and take a jack from the bottom with a board and jack up the front of the motor just about that 1/4 inch or so, just to give you enough room to go in back here. And there's a little tab on the gasket to push the gasket forward and pull it out. Then once you have the gasket out, you could go ahead and take your new one and slip it back in. Once you ensure that there's no part of the gasket that got left on the inside of the housing itself. I had to go dig the gasket out of the trash, but it does give you a better view of the front, where the three bolts are towards the front of the block and the one in the back. Now here's the tab that you're going to reach behind and just kind of slide the gasket out. Gives you a little bit better idea of what you're kind of looking at. And it's really hard to see where all the bolts go, so I kept kind of referencing the gasket so I know where the bolt holes are. That one, when I put it back in place, you just got to kind of be careful that you don't cock the gasket itself. So I kind of slid it in place and then found the holes to line it up and just kind of hand screwed them down to hold the gasket in place. And of course, when I tightened it up, we did a crisscross pattern just to make sure everything went down nice and even. It didn't create an issue for us. And then of course from there, it was just time to reassemble. The whole process probably took around 4 or 5 hours just because we were taking our time. And it's really hard to see what you're doing. And it's really hard to see anything you're doing down there. It's just such a tight space, and you're working on the floor and then above here. And as you can tell, you really can't see nothing. You just kind of got to go by feel and try to see as best you can. Now, of course, when you're doing this job, light is a big issue. Holding a flashlight down there, if you don't have an extra set of hands, someone helping you out, it's almost impossible because you're on your back and bolting stuff, and then you're up here, you're trying to wedge the light somewhere. What really helped me out is this LED headlamp. It's really bright. It's got a few different settings. You could go high beam, low beam, and then it also has the side light right there. I usually use the LED light bar in most cases. It does have a really cool feature. It has a hand motion feature somewhere in here that apparently it does not want me to activate at this time. Oh, there we go. Nope, I think the battery died. But the battery does last quite a while. I ran this thing for probably like about 5 hours yesterday while I was doing this whole job. Definitely worth the investment to pick one of these up. They're really inexpensive as well. If you guys are interested in these hand lamps, I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description below. I hope this video gives you guys a better idea if you guys got to go through this task yourself. Possibly save you a little money so you don't have to send it to the shop, because I'm pretty sure it's probably not the cheapest repair. I really should have done the video yesterday when I was going through it, but it was the first time I was going through it myself, and I was trying not to get irritated about the tight space, which it really wasn't too bad. Definitely worth a shot if you guys are thinking about doing it. But anyways, I hope you guys liked the video, and as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.